Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Football Friday. I'm the uninformed fan. Only a few Football Fridays left for us to recap. It is the frozen tundra down here in Florida at the moment. Jeffrey, are you staying warm over there? Did you have to turn on your heat?
I don't think we have. Maybe we have. I don't know. My father-in-law probably did when it was 80 out. I'm not really sure. Who knows? I don't know. I just pay the bills. Keep it moving. Life is great. Yeah. Life is grand. Chad, I love the. I wanted to post that because I love the energy right there. 1-5 last week. A lot of people would be down in the dumps, but you know what? We're gonna bounce the fuck back, baby.
It was a tough week for the boys. It was a tough week for the boys. I did turn on the heat today, Jeff. Usually I don't, but I woke up and it was 62 in the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, the wife's off today. She's probably not going to appreciate that. So, I'm just thankful it worked because I don't think I've turned it on in over a year and a half. So there's a plus. I mean, we have a few days of winter down here. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, I was out last night and it was when I got out of work, it was 40. And
I was at the pool bar last night, Jeff.
Standing outside at 1:15 in the morning with an ice cold Michelob Ultra and Fireball in my hand. I looked down and I believe it was 35.
Correct. Yeah.
So whatever, man.
I thought we were scaling back a little bit.
We have.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was out at the pool bar yesterday, Jeffrey. It was a wonderful day. Just a wonderful day.
I do want to also give a shout out to friend of the program, mutual friend of ours, Ian Zeese, who has been texting me for the past few days looking to get a haircut. And I have decided to give him my barber graciously. Now, my barber, I discovered because I had to run into Great Clips one time and just get a quick cut and get something to kind of tide me over. And I was like, oh, okay. He's got some chops. Well, me and Jeremy, our 3-time producer over here, have been going to this man for now years. And so Ian, who just moved to the area, I have put him on. And he literally just texted me and said, I can't believe I've been paying $70 with tip for a haircut for the past 3 years. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home.
So you go to Great Clips? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is it, $29.95?
Nah, bro. They have coupons right now for $9.99, but normally it's about $17 without tip.
I usually spend about $20, $40, somewhere around there for about 5 years worth of haircuts. As I just pick up the wall trimmer. And when you don't have hair, it's
Is that something that's like a flex for you? Or I guess that's just like the only thing you have, right? Like you got to hold on to that joke. Because
I have a lot of things going very positive in my life, Jeffrey. The funny thing about it is I shaved my head when I had hair. That's the wild thing. I actually had a full head.
That is wild. Why would you do that? Yeah. Was it like a Jordan thing?
No.
You were trying to be like Mike?
It's just easy to maintain, my brother. I wake up, I'm just there. I don't have to get the mousse. And, I was doing all of the crazy, messy looks. And
yeah. Jeremy, I did see that Boba Fett breaking news to the Mets in agreement on a deal coming together. And obviously coming off the Kyle Tucker news of last night that shook the baseball world.
Yep.
He goes
we will get into it. Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Number one.
Let's get into the money thing here because we don't want Chad wait. He's been waiting so patiently already. Rough week last week, but this week we're going to start with the coaching carousel here. We still have openings, Jeffrey, for the Browns, Cardinals, Dolphins, Falcons, Raiders, Ravens, Steelers, and Titans. And one that we don't have in there, Jeffrey, is the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants are finalizing the deal with John Harbaugh to become their head coach. I get it. Everybody is super ecstatic about it. I get it. It brings stability to your franchise. But Jeff, I'm going to pose something to you. Does it bring a Super Bowl to your franchise?
Remains to be seen.
He was with the Ravens for what, 18 years? Did he win one?
I think if you are Well, listen, the epitome is you need to be able to get there. You need to get to the playoffs, which he has proven over and over and over again. I also think that it's really interesting as well, too. When we scoured and we looked at the different jobs, right? I know you said you loved the Atlanta job. I was not a big fan of that job personally. You loved it because you said the NFC South is so weak, and there's a bevy of different reasons why one would want to take that job. I thought the Giants was kind of a sleeper
Obviously,
job.
you would focus in on that particular one, but yeah, okay.
I thought the Giants was kind of a sleeper job as well, too, because if you look at it, you have stability there already, right? You have QB1 that is decided in Jackson Dart. You have RB1 in Cam Scatterbo that's decided as well, too. You have wide receiver 1 in Malik Neighbors. You have offensive tackle 1 in Andrew Thomas. You have a great start and base for your defensive line. One of the best lines that was assembled in the league between you have Brian Burns, who was unbelievable this year. You just drafted Abdul Carter. Can Kayvon Thibodeau stay healthy? I think these were all question marks, and I think getting a guy like Harbaugh in there and the staff that he's going to bring in to develop these guys, and you still have picks, you still have assets. The only problem that I don't like is that you have a GM who I feel like has been rather incompetent in his time there. But I also think that could be a plus, because if you're Harbaugh, you don't really want to go into a situation. I was thinking about this with Miami. You don't want to go into a situation like Miami where they just hired a GM, right? Because that GM has an argument that, listen, I haven't had a chance to build this roster. We just brought in this coach. We need to do this and this and this. If you're showing, right, and you bring in Harbaugh, you're on the hot seat now. You have 1 year, right? If you suck this year and you're not great, the blame can go directly to you, and therefore you're on the hot seat, you're gone, and now Harbaugh gets to handpick whatever GM he wants to. So I kind of like the hire, honestly, a lot, especially if he brings in Monken, especially if he brings in his defensive guys. They're a couple pieces away from being competitive, especially in that division.
I definitely agree on most points. I definitely think that this GM bringing in Harbaugh is his basically lifeline. But you also the ink has not been put to paper yet. While everybody expects the deal, there's things that are still being hammered out, and the only thing I can think of, Jeff, is the control factor, right?
For sure.
I mean, John Harbaugh is not going to come in and let this asshole, or I'm sorry, not this asshole, this very questionable general manager and the questionable moves that he made have total control over his roster and be like, here's the team. He's no Sonny Weaver Jr. I draft the players, you coach them. I don't think that relationship's going to happen at all. As far as I agree with a stable mentality, right? I agree with the stable mentality, and I agree with getting the program back on. And a lot of people have already said, that they expect the Giants to at least make the playoffs. But I mean, are the playoffs the goal every year?
Yes.
I mean, especially then that's a weak ass goal. I mean,
really?
So let me ask you this question. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. Just to
When's
make
the last time the Bears were in the playoffs?
They're in the playoffs right now, Jeff.
They are in the playoffs right now. But before that, when was the last time they were in the playoffs?
Does it matter? Does it matter if you play one more game?
It does. I want to be in the playoffs every single year.
Well, of course you want to be.
What do you mean?
But the goal is to win your division first.
Sure.
Your conference second.
If you win your division, you're going to be in the playoffs.
Right. So conference first, division second, championship. How many divisional championships did he win?
You mean division, then conference, then Super Bowl?
Yeah, you know what I meant. Division, conference, and then Super Bowl. But it should be, just making the playoffs. I mean, like, okay, so if the Bucks backdoored their way into 8-9 and then got blown out in the first game, are you like, woohoo, we made the playoffs?
You think the Bucks would have got blown out in the first game?
I'm not saying they were. I'm giving you a hypothetical question. I mean, obviously the Panthers going from the absolute dog shit to 8-9 making the playoffs, they see that as a success. Okay, you got to play one more game.
They were super competitive in the game they played. You don't think experience in getting there matters? I absolutely do.
I agree with you that I think experience matters, but the goal shouldn't be just to get a foot in the door of the playoffs. I mean, look at Mike Tomlin. We called him mediocre Mike, and you've been one of the biggest criticisms. Yes, he had a winning record, but he was also 0-7 in the playoffs. So they got to the playoffs every year for 7 years, and they got their ass kicked every 7 years by a margin of over 21 points. So is that success? That's all I'm saying. So
I think when
John Harbaugh comes in, and the reason why he left the Ravens is because he didn't win the close to the big games. I mean, there's what other reason are you going with other than Lamar Jackson doesn't want him there, which I had not seen that come out, so I can't speculate to that. But what other reason would you move on from him? because he is a winning coach. And to your point, okay, he missed the playoffs this year, but usually his foot is in the door. Same thing with Tomlin. So I do like the hire to bring stability to the New York Giants because let's be honest, over the past, decade, it has been a revolving door of coaches, offensive coordinators, quarterbacks, the whole 9 yards. So ever since Eli left, pretty much, right? I don't think they've had any type of stability since Eli left. I agree that brings that to your point as far as Todd Monken. I mean, there's a lot of smoke coming around with that, saying that that's not guaranteed either. Todd Monken's also interviewing for head coaching jobs. And then when they talked about offensive coordinator positions, the New York Giants is a good one if you believe in Jackson Dart, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also need a coordinator. The LA Chargers also need a coordinator. The Miami Dolphins. There's not the Dolphins. I'm not going to put them in there.
They need a head coach.
Possibly the Atlanta Falcons. Like there's a lot of these teams, the Browns, the Raiders, there's a lot of these teams. Well, with head coaches comes new offensive coordinators as well. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not a guarantee that Todd Monken is just going to say, hey, yeah, we've been together forever. Let's go. Especially when he's interviewing for head coaching jobs as well. I like the hire for the Giants as far as stability, but I don't think to the point of it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're Super Bowl bound now. But can he get there in 5 years? Probably. I don't know.
Did you think that the Bears Super Bowl bound by getting Ben Johnson this year?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So,
but Ben Johnson, unproven head coach, which is looking at one of the more prominent offensive minds in the league. And honestly, I don't have to worry about Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams leaving. I don't have to worry about Caleb Williams learning a new offense. Who brings in, it's kind of the Todd Bowles effect that we talked about. Baker Mayfield has had an amazing resurgence in Tampa Bay, but he's lost his offensive coordinator 3 years in a row. 2 of them because they became a head coach. And while we both agree the head coach should be the head coach, the GM, the top of the line, when you bring in offensive coordinators in, if they're good, they're going to get poached. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Todd Monken just did an interview and said that John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches that he's ever been around to go along with Kirby Smart. And he said those 2 guys are the 2 best coaches that he's ever been around in his lifetime. And he loves both of them and so on and so forth. To me, that's a guy that'll follow him to go coach Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, an offensive line that they can build around, and Cam Scatterby, who will run through a brick wall literally just for fun. I would say
that might be definite if he's the coach in waiting. But eventually, don't you want your own shot? You're interviewing for a head coaching
job. Just said if he doesn't get a head coaching job, I think as an OC, he's perfect in New York.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, but I don't know. I mean, we talked about the Chargers or the Bucks. Don't you think the Bucks have a more explosive offensive roster than the New York Giants? Baker Mayfield over Jackson Dart. The roster that they have, weapons, the running backs. Okay, yeah, you got Scam Cadaboo, but who do you have after that? You got Rashad White who's proven himself. That's what Scam Cadaboo. I don't know. I think there's more appealing offensive coordinator jobs out there. But to your point, I think if he doesn't decide, I mean, he might go there, but I don't know. I again, they're busting up the party. It just feels like that party might be over anyway. But I do also want to say, while the head coaching carousel looks very, very interesting, I'm also interested to see where all of these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators go. One of them being Mike McDaniels, right? Mike McDaniels has interviewed for a couple head coaching jobs. I think he just went to the Ravens. I don't know if he's been talking to the Browns. But if he decides, which apparently he has said that, he's willing to take an OC job for a while to kind of, get back to right, it'd be very interesting where he goes. How do you know that was unintentional, Chad?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't pin that down right there. I'll put my finger on it.
Yeah. But again, we talked a little bit on the pre-show. Mike McDaniels would be great in Tampa Bay. Okay. But then again, if he gets great in Tampa Bay, is he going to stay? Are you going to kick Todd Bowles out, or are you going to have another offensive coordinator coming in? And that's why I feel like the league right now, if you don't hire an offensive coordinator as your head coach, you're going to be in the 8 ball. I got you, Chad. I'm here for you.
My barber said he took Ian from Ellen DeGeneres to James Bond.
Can't wait to see the before and after pictures. Should be a good time. Where do you think Mike McDaniels ends up, Jeffrey?
Hopefully Tampa. I don't know though. I feel like he could like. There's so many openings now. He could get a head coaching gig. It's also really weird how this is all stalled right now because everybody who you want is still kind of in the playoffs. There's some guys on the Rams that I'm sure teams are looking at. I just
OC's getting a lot of looks. Whatever the OC for the Rams is.
or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
We tried to hire him in Tampa last year instead of Grizzard. He was the number one guy they were going after. Couldn't land him because McVay convinced him to stay for another year. Great on him. I mean, he stays another year, and all of a sudden now he's getting head coaching looks. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any like inside info on anything. I just not seen any reports on anybody getting interviewed or whatever it is. I have not seen jack shit. So
again, I think McDaniels would be perfect over there, but I feel like that's just the carousel. It's just the same carousel. He's going to come in, do a great job, and he's there for a year and gone.
I can see him going to like Cleveland and being the head coach in Cleveland too. Like,
bro, I don't know, man. If you could make it work in Miami, I don't know if you're making it work in Cleveland.
Why?
No. What do you mean? Why? I mean, Cleveland shambles, bro. They're just shambles. Like, okay? So you talked about before, like coaching opportunities and where to go. Who's your quarterback?
The rest of the division is shambles right now.
Who's your quarterback in Cleveland?
Well, it's probably going to be Deshaun Watson.
Exactly. I mean, and who? So that's a good point. Before we move on from this, since we don't, like you pointed out, there's not a whole lot of movement here, and I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of movement until after probably the conference championships. I would say, because as your point, like they like to poach a lot of people. But what do you think? Who do you think? Deshaun Watson 1 and Shedeur Sanders 2?
Yes.
And then what about old lefty?
What do they do with him?
Yeah. 3 practice squad cut.
He'll be a quarterback coach somewhere in the next 3 years. He will. He'll be a QB coach. He's a lefty with not a great arm. He's like a poor man's Tua Tagovailoa, and I don't know how you can be a poor man's Tua Tagovailoa, but that's just what he is. It's like, yeah, he'll be selling cars or insurance in 3 years. I don't understand. I never understood the draft pick. I never understood the love. It was wild to me that they took him where they did, and it was more of like Stefanski just being defiant and saying, "I'm not going to take Shedeur here. You know who I'm going to take? I'm going to take Dylan Gabriel instead." And
we love him.
And then the owner makes him draft Shedeur, which he definitely didn't want to do. And then he ends up having to play Shedeur because Shedeur is better than Dylan Gabriel.
Did he get fired?
Yeah, it was like, what? What happened there?
I definitely agree with what you were saying there, Chad.
Snoop Huntley, they had Kenny Pickett, they had like 6 quarterbacks.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, it was wild times out there in Cleveland.
I definitely agree with you, Chad. We've said it numerous times, and I know that you relatively do, but we've been doing this for a little while now. And I've always said that the coaching matters, especially when you're bringing these young quarterbacks in, especially like number 1, number 5, those top 10 quarterbacks, bringing them into a system. And it couldn't be more obvious based on what happened with Caleb Williams. Year 1 struggles a little bit, and you can just see his development throughout the year with Ben Johnson. So yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Divisional round is.
He struggled to start this year as well too.
He did. Absolutely. And, the leaks were that, they didn't really get on, get it together. Like at the beginning of the year, they were not seeing eye to eye on how to run. And I'm assuming Caleb kind of bent over. I mean, you saw the emotional speech that he gave in the locker room about Ben. I think you're absolutely right. I think so. And there was a couple of people on our TikTok commenting like, well, if you did, because after I put that video out, basically saying that I'm 1,000% bought in now. And they're like, if you weren't bought in before, then do you even know ball? Are you even a fan? I'm like, dude, first of all, with the history of the Chicago Bears quarterbacks, I kind of jumped the gun on Justin Fields there for a little bit. So forgive me if I pause a little bit before I'm all in on a quarterback in Chicago. Absolutely. And then Jeff, I don't know if you had a couple comments here on your Justin Herbert reel this morning that said, get it out of your mouth. I don't know what they were referring to there, Jeff.
First of all, shout out to everybody who does comment and like these things. I don't have access to the social media. So any shit that you want to say to me, I literally don't see. So
you see it. You see it just from your personal account.
I don't. I'll go like the videos just to get traction, but I I don't
We
care.
got to get in there, Jeff. Get in there.
I don't care.
Talk some shit. The best part is when you post a video or a clip, which is usually what we do, the clips from the show. We do that obviously to try to get people over here, which is something that I need to do. I need a pin video, but the best part is when everyone starts arguing and fighting underneath it. That's when you posted a good clip, when you can get people going back and forth. Well, let's get into it, Jeff. Divisional round is upon us. We're going to start out Saturday with the Buffalo Bills against the Denver Broncos. Broncos favored here right now by 1 on the Hard Rock. I see it between 1 and 1.5. Big news coming out of Buffalo once again. Not only is Gabe Davis out with a torn ACL, Tyrell Shavers also out with an ACL. We talked a little bit of this on the pre-show. Obviously, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid are going to have to step up, but this has got to be a Keon Coleman spotlight, right? You have played arguably not well. You've been benched. This team needs you. Superman needs you. Grab his cape, throw it on him, get out there and play some ball, and guess what? Everything else will go away. They will forget about you. Forget about the shit you did early in the year or didn't do. Forget about the benching. You come out in this divisional playoff game and you ball out. Guess what? All the love is coming your way, Keon Coleman. What do you think, Jeff? What are we looking for on the Bills' offensive side of the ball?
Well, this is what they call it, like a dead cat bounce or something like that, right? It's like when the line shifts from completely flips from anyway.
I think I saw it as high as 2.5.
This is tough. It's a tough game. Josh is going to have to run a lot. Hufunga, that's going to be his matchup. So you're going to see him down in the box a lot, I feel like, too. And we can say whatever we want about Keon, but it's like, bro, like, okay, go get guarded by the best cornerback in all of football, and Pat Surtain. It's a tough matchup.
Surtain will be on Coleman or Shakir?
I don't know if he'll shadow. I know he usually does. I don't know if he'll shadow just because Khalil goes to the slot so much. I think this is going to have to be a huge, Dalton Kincaid, Jackson Hawes, Dawson Knox. You're going to see a tight end just running them out there. James Cook's got to get going this game if the Bills are going to have a chance. I know we always say Josh Allen with the legs. I think he can do it. I think it's just going to be really tough. Going to Denver, going into Mile High to try to get this done. So
Josh Allen player prop, his rushing yards sitting at over 36.5. Total pass plus rush is 251.5. I think that's got to be one of the lower total passing and rushing yard totals we've seen in quite some time. Testament
probably.
To the
I mean, I like James Cook is interesting here. It's a tough game, man. I don't want to trust Bo Nix. I don't want to bet on Denver at all, but it feels like you have to, just because of the injuries that's going on in Buffalo and how bad their defense has been this year. Obviously, Denver and Sean Payton with an extra week to be able to prepare. Coaching wise, as much as I hate him, I give the nod to Payton over McDermott every day of the week. I don't know, man.
My biggest question is this, Jeff. My biggest question is this. We laid out the game plan for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars had a much better opportunity to beat the Buffalo Bills than the Denver Broncos. I really do. However, will Sean Payton stick to our game plan? The Buffalo Bills cannot run the ball. I'm sorry, they can't stop the run. If you run the ball effectively against the Buffalo Bills, we saw the Jacksonville Jaguars run it outside 5 to 7 yards a clip. And then they kept trying to force feed it and then up the middle and run Trevor Lawrence up the middle. It was telegraphed. It was just plain as day. So Sean Payton, I think, is a much better coach than Liam Cohen, respectively, head coach. And I think he'll be able to make those calls. I think you got, RJ Harvey back there. I think he's going to he needs to have a good game, big game. His rushing total is only 56.5, which to me seems wildly low. Now, I will say, will Sean Payton stick to the plan? If you run the football, you drain the clock, you keep it out of Josh Allen's hands, to your point, that secondary of Denver is great. The Buffalo Bills are also going to try to run the ball because of what we just talked about. They're down to their fifth string wide receivers. They have nobody. James Cook, one of the highest rushing totals of the year. Run the football, man. If you guys both run the football, you're going to be looking up, and it's going to be 2 minutes to go before the first half, and it's going to be a 7-6 game. It's going to be very close because everybody's just going to keep the time of possession. So I think Sean Payton will have a better game plan than Liam Cohen, just because he's been around the block long enough to be able to do that. So if they stick with the game plan, I like the Broncos. Take it out of Bo Nix's hands, right? Don't let him make mistakes, especially in the first half. And I could care less if you get down by 10 in the first half to Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. You keep running the rock, man. You keep running the rock. Do not put the pressure on Bo Nix in the first half. That's just my thing on it. I mean, to your point, to Chad's point, boom, like Josh Allen's is going to have to do everything. And he has been. 80 yards. I'm sorry, 80% completion in the last game against the Jaguars. I mean, dude, everything in my hatred is telling me the Bills can't do it. And then everything with my eyeballs is saying don't bet against Josh Allen the same way that we've talked about don't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and Bills fans have been very aggressive toward us as well too, because we've been trying to fade you as much as humanly possible, and it hasn't really worked out in our favor. So take that for what you will. Got us. I do think this is a Denver spot, though. I kind of agree. The RJ Harvey, I think it's 80.5 combined rushing and receiving is interesting to me, as well as James Cook. James Cook's going to have to be Superman as well, too. Let's be honest. This game's going to be anything close. I always see the Marvin Mims 1.5, and it always gets me intrigued, especially with how bad they've been on the outside and the fact that you're going to get it in and around, possibly. But then I always go back to the fact of like if he gets the in and around and trips up or doesn't get to the line of scrimmage, you're completely screwed because now he has -6 rushing yards and you're never getting another handoff again.
It's kind of like betting Kirk Cousins over 2.5 yards rushing.
Right. Yeah. And then you're worrying about knees at the end of the game, if they're ahead. So
yeah. All right, Jeffrey.
Did you see that by the way with Matt Stafford at the end of the game where his rushing total. So he had a rushing total that had hit, and if he just takes the knee for 1 yard loss, the rushing prop hits is over. Instead, he takes 3 steps back and takes a knee for a -3 yard loss, and the rushing prop ends up going under. Kind of crazy.
Need to be investigated, Jeff.
I agree.
Needs to be investigated.
Also, speaking of investigation, I know we're probably not going to get to this, but we gotta figure this shit out, dude. Do you see the point shaving scandal in college basketball as well?
Yep.
They just indicted 20-something kids. What are we doing here? You talked about it needs to be investigated. It made me go to that. Absolutely insane, dude. Like you're getting NIL money now. You're getting paid. I know it's been happening for years, but that was also because you weren't getting paid. You know what I mean? Like
let's also look at the people that were involved and what was there. Wasn't it like D3 schools or D2 schools? Like it's not the big boys. It's not the big boys that are getting $1 million or $500,000 or 100,000. Yeah, I don't know. Give me your call on Bills Broncos, Jeffrey.
That's a
stay away game.
File 11.
I know. Hey, we take everything, bro. I'm glad that we could make your day.
We're really, really doing well in this community now.
Yeah, the algorithm has been absolutely on point. On point.
It's pretty insane. The way the growth that we've seen in the girth.
Chad, have you put your picks out yet?
He already put them out.
For this week?
Yeah. All 2 units.
First comment? Okay, here it is. Denver, you got Denver -1. Yeah, pick him. So he's going Denver as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a stay away game for me. No juice for me. No juicy juice for me.
Yeah. I like Denver here as much as I don't want to because I don't like Sean Payton and I'm not a Denver fan, but
I just don't think Josh Allen can beat the Broncos defense by himself this year. Now, if they stick to the game plan, who knows? We'll see what happens. 49ers Seahawks, Jeffrey. Seahawks favorite here by a full touchdown. Sam Darnold coming up on the injury report late with an oblique. How the hell do you injure yourself not in a game? It's like getting fired on your day off.
Well, I mean, there's different ways to do that.
You hanging out with Deshaun Watson?
I feel like that would be the opposite. You'd be getting a massage. You'd be really relaxed. Life would be good.
But then in Jeff, maybe
yeah, man. 7.5 is absolutely insane to me. I really
like Ricky Pearsall will be playing.
Really, really like San Francisco in the spot. I like the points. I'm taking the money line. I don't even care. this whole Sam Darnold injury now is just more affirmation that he's about to turn into a pumpkin and it's about to be over. He's been objectively not great the past 3 games, but they've been finding ways to win because their defense has been so good. I think Shanahan's going to get in his bag here. I thought the last game that they played was a little bit of a anomaly when it came to San Francisco and just the way that they played was just so timid. I understand the argument that they won't be able to run the ball because Trent Williams still has the hamstring and now George Kittle is out. However, I don't care. Give me San Francisco here. Give them to me on the spread. Give them to me on the money line. San Francisco wins this ball game.
I think was it Tongas, the backup?
I didn't.
He's been very serviceable especially when Kittle was out as well. I do think 7's a lot. However,
yeah, and I think Salah's going to get in his bag as well too.
Salah's been
and you know what's crazy about this? Fred Warner, if they win, is back next week. Like,
yeah, no Fred Warner.
Insane, bro.
Could Modern be crazy if the 49ers do win and the Bears do win, the Bears would be hosting next week. That would be pretty interesting. I'm looking here for there it is. Brock Purdy.
Can I also
interception over a half minus 170
as well too?
It's crazy that Brock Purdy over interception is more than Sam Darnold.
What do you mean?
Brock Purdy to throw an interception is minus 170. Sam Darnold to throw an interception, minus 115.
Well, to be fair, they might just run the ball every single play with Seattle. Also, to be fair, I think that Seattle's defense is much better, so that's probably why it's priced like that as well too, as opposed to San Francisco is literally put together by duct tape and sticks.
You were coming. You had something that you were bringing up there.
I think they're gonna try to run the ball a lot with Seattle. I just don't see. I think Salah's gonna try to get in his bag a little bit, and I don't see Shanahan folding again, like he did in the last game. I think it's really tough to play a team 3 times in 1 year, and for the same thing to happen. And you know, I really like San Francisco in this spot. They have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money, you know.
So, I mean, if that's the case, then I think you might want the first half lines might be something to look at. You know, minus 3.5 is minus 130 for Seattle in the first half. But yeah, I don't have a good read on this team either. This game either. I've seen what the San Francisco 49ers did to the Bears defense. Obviously, the Bears defense is not anything close to what the Seattle defense is. Last week, we started to see a little bit more of the chinks in the armor, if you will, against the Eagles, but they still put up 23 points. I don't know how to read, man. If I don't have a read, Jeff, I just can't do it. So I have no idea. I might dive into a little bit more on the player props and see what happens here. See what Jackson Smith-Njigba is. What
take the plus 7.5 with confidence out there, boys and girls.
Where are you seeing 7.5?
It's 7. You can get 7.5 if you want.
Yeah, if you want to pay the juice. That's juicy, Jeff.
Yeah, but
that's juicy.
It's not even
7.5 is minus 135. Whew. That's big, Jeff. I don't know if I can. $20. I don't know.
I would pay the extra minus. It's minus 115 at plus 7. So there's no slider on this one either, Jeffrey. Buy the hook.
You can get him plus 20 for minus 700. Easy money. Let's get into Sunday, Jeff. Sunday's got the better slate, in my opinion. That's just because both these teams are healthy. Texans headed to the Patriots, minus 3.5 on the sports score app, minus 3.5 on the on Hard Rock as well. Obviously CJ Stroud had one of his worst games last game. Five total fumbles, turnovers, slashes, 3 lost. No Nico Collins this week either, Jeff. Nico Collins appears to be down and out. I have a lot of questions on the offensive side for the Texans. I don't have any questions on the defensive side of the Texans. And I think the under 40.5 is the absolute play here.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to load up on the under 40.5. Honestly, it's probably the right side. Can I tell you what sucks too?
I would love to hear it.
Why do we have to have every single one of these games outside in the cold this week? You know, like why do I have to handicap weather? It just make everybody play in a dome. I just
You do realize that football is an outdoor sport, correct, Jeffrey?
Sure.
Well, there's your answer.
Not really, but whatever. It was an outdoor sport. And then we evolved as human beings and realized that we can play indoors and we don't have to have weather and have fans freezing in negative 10-degree wind chill in Chicago with their shirt off.
First of all, I don't want to hear you. You would all talk about what fans experience because you never have gone or will go.
That doesn't mean I can't be an empath. That doesn't mean I can't.
You do not have a say in it. If you do not show up for these games, you have no say.
Football game. I go to football games.
Have you?
I don't enjoy going to football games.
When's the last time you went to an NFL football game live in person, Jeff? With me?
I went to Tom Brady's last game. Was that?
No, you didn't. Because he played Dallas in the playoffs.
Yeah, I went to that Dallas game. I was a guest of Logan Ryan in his box with all.
So we were there and we didn't meet up at all.
We talked about it. Remember?
Did we?
I drove. Amanda was pregnant with Liam, very pregnant with Liam. And
I take my back. Let me rephrase the question, Jeffrey.
So
Let me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase in the suite. Yeah. Let me rephrase the question.
It was a box.
When's the last time that you purchased with your own money an NFL ticket? For those of you sitting at home, the smoke is starting to come out of his ears.
What is that like me purchasing with my own money have to do with anything?
Well, it has to do with your commitment to the sport and commitment to the team and commitment to the other, Jeffrey. That's what I'm saying. Don't you worry about us Chicago fans in the cold weather. Everything's going to be all right. All I've heard this whole week is how the weather's going to affect these games. But, let's put a dome on there. Let's make an equal playing field between the LA Rams and the Chicago Bears. That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
absolutely
you know what sounds great is watching nobody score for 3 fucking hours. Imagine if you put them in a dome, right? Even if you put Seattle and San Fran in a dome, bro, it's going to be up and down. If you put LA and Chicago with a dome, it's going to be up and down. It's going to be entertaining. So I gotta watch 3-yard dives by Kyle Monungai and angry
just
runs.
Just because it's cold does not mean there's going to be points. As a matter of fact, to your point, Jeffrey, the highest total score of the entire slate of these games in Chicago at 48.5. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it. Now, if it was a snowball, I'd give you that, but it's not. So let's get back to business here. Texans, Patriots. Jeff, can CJ Stroud get his shit together, not try to turn the ball over 5 times, and just trust his defense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've talked about it before, too, is that I think the Texans wide receiving core is actually a little bit deeper than what we want to give them credit for. We've talked about, look, the fraudulent slip of Stephen A. Smith with Charlie Kirk the other day on First Take was pretty funny. But obviously Christian Kirk balls out. Jaden Higgins has been really good this year as well, too. Dalton Schultz is still there. I think the collective of what they have talent out there. Now you add in Chubb and Woody Marks. Woody Marks looked great against Pittsburgh. Will he be able to have that same kind of consistency and success against a Patriots defense that was really good to start the year against the run, but did fell off a little bit toward the very end? So
showed up last week, though.
They did. Listen, I like Houston here just because I don't know who's going to be able to score. And if you're going to give me 3.5 points, I think that the hook is going to be an easy play for me. Absolutely. So I do really like Houston plus 3.5.
I like Houston here for a full unit, and I also like a little sprinkle on the money line. I definitely think that Houston's a play here. I think it's the more complete team. I think the Patriots have had a great season, and I think that it's going to be a great run. I think Drake May is going to be on his ass for the majority of this game. I don't know, and Jeff, you can maybe correct me, Chad, maybe. When has Drake May gone up against a defense like this, a pass rush like this?
Yeah, that's true. And listen, Will Campbell, how healthy is he? He's going to have to be able to stop Will Anderson Jr.
And they're already talking, they're going to have to give somebody to help him. So,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
gonna be
you double team him on this side. Guess who's sitting on the other side?
Yeah, the 3.5 still gonna be minus 135. I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like I would gladly pay the juice on it. So just to answer
Three
your
and a half
question,
right now is minus 115.
oh, okay, fine. Just to answer your question real quick, chat. It is Jeff, Jeffrey. Funny story. Many years. I've been in the hospitality industry for a very long time, and it was my first week working at a new restaurant. And it's an upscale restaurant, really nice executive chef, Chef Brian Fry. Shout out to him. And he's making this huge dessert plate, and it says "Happy Birthday, Geoff, Geoff." Now, this is back many years ago when there was colorful language that was, said in the kitchen. And so I walked up to said executive chef and I said, "Hey, chef," and I'm going to insert the word loser. I did not use the word loser, but I said, "Hey, chef, what kind of a loser spells his name Geoff?" And he turns to me, looks me directly in my eye, and says, "My brother and my wife is sitting at the table, and my mother is sitting at the table if you want to talk to her about it."
This is another classic Jeffrey moment.
I didn't use the word loser. I used a comment that I no longer, a word that I no longer use. But anyway, it's
as we get older, Jeff, we realize that
we grow.
We probably shouldn't fly off the handle as quickly.
We remember.
All right, Jeffrey. The Texans is in two. I went even further, Jeff. 2 units on plus 3.5 and a full unit on the line. Yeah, I just think that Drake he's had a great season. I think the Patriots have had a great season, and I think this is one of those you just say this is a great season. Regardless if you lose this, Patriots are way ahead of schedule. And the future's bright. A couple more pieces around him, maybe a new receiver on the offseason.
You know what's crazy? I saw this thing. They had won the game. The Texans, the game was over, right? The pick six happens, it's over, it's blah blah blah. And there was a play that happened where Shazier basically made like a risky kind of a play, right? And it was a play where nothing came to fruition by it. But if worst case scenario, they would have scored. They would have been within a score in the fourth quarter with not a lot of time. D'Amico Ryans pulled him to the side and was like, "You realize that we cannot afford to have those kind of risks." And Shazier looked at him, completely agreed with him. And even when you saw them get interviewed on stage after the game against the Steelers, they all said, "We played fine. We did not play great. We left some things out there. We can be a lot better." It's a great mentality to have. Great mentality to have. And you can
let's be honest, the Steelers should have never been in the game. If CJ Stroud doesn't have the 5 turnovers or the 5 attempted turnovers,
for sure,
they're never even in the game. Second half, we saw what could be. I am a little concerned about CJ Stroud in the offense against what I saw last week against the Patriots. But I will say, I think that team is just overall, it's better. They've been to the playoffs before. CJ Stroud has been deep into the playoffs before. And Drake May, while he's been cool and composed, and he might go out and do it. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying history would show rookie quarterbacks, especially against like this. And to Chad's point, this is a historic defense. This defense is brutal, and they play with force and aggression. We'll see what happens. And to your point again, Will Campbell, one of the best picks coming out of the draft, didn't look so great and hasn't looked great in a couple of games. And when you're going against those boys, they're going to have to be doing a lot of quick plays. But, I also think Vrabel will scheme some stuff to account for that. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Remember, he got hurt against Cincinnati as well, too. And so, he came back from injury. And so there's been, those things involved as well. So I don't put it all on him. But, yeah, I like it.
Let's get into it. The biggest game of the day, Jeffrey. The biggest game of the day or the night or the weekend. The LA Rams coming to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears are getting 3.5 points. It looks like some of them was 4. I did see it as high as 4.5. We kind of talked about the cold weather. That is definitely the storyline throughout. Looks like it's going to be in the negatives, wind chill factor, game kicks off. Yeah. A lot of people talking about the Rams, being able to play in the cold. First of all, let me just everybody calm down for a second. Yes, Matt Stafford lives in LA. Yes, but guess where Matt Stafford played before? Oh, that's right, Detroit. And guess where Detroit played? In Chicago.
In a dome. They played in a dome.
But they played in Chicago. They played in Green Bay. So not this late in the season. Definitely not in Chicago, because the first game we've seen this late in the season in Chicago in quite some time. But it's not like he's unaccustomed to it. And where did Devontae Adams play? Devontae Adams played in Green Bay for the majority of his career. So these guys are used to it. Puka Nacua coming from Hawaii or wherever the hell he came from, maybe not. But I think, Puka's got that dog in him. And we all have been outside after Thanksgiving, growing up in the Midwest, wherever, and going out and playing a pickup game when it's absolute just cold. By the end of the day, man, after you get out there running around, you don't even feel it. I'm sorry, you don't feel it. You'll feel it for a little bit in the first quarter, and you'll feel a little bit in the third quarter. After that, game on, baby. I think that this game is going to be absolute shootout. I think that, when we look at the strengths and weaknesses of each team, I think we can say a weakness for each team is the secondary on both sides of the football. Bears also don't really have pass rush. That's an issue. Rams have Jared Verse over there on the other side. I do believe they're in like the top 10 as far as pressures against quarterbacks. That's going to be an issue. But you also have Ben Johnson on the other side that's going to scheme up some stuff to be able to get the ball out of Caleb's hands. Will Caleb continue to follow it? Who knows what's going to happen with it? I really just think this is going to be an absolute shootout. I think the secondary is going to be exposed. If they can give time, that's going to be the biggest issue right here is how do the Bears stop the pass rush of the LA Rams? And can we get lucky with a turnover from Matt Stafford or some type of magic to be able to stop Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua? Again, 48.5. I could see this being, 50 at halftime, to be perfectly honest with you.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cold weather doesn't matter.
There's a lot being talked about this game. I think it's been a great year for Chicago. I think
100%.
They've outkicked their coverage. I think they've played above their skis. Whatever terminology you want to use, they've done really well. Ben's been great for them. I know that Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur are best friends, and they've interviewed McVay and they've said, what do you think? I've called Matt and blah blah blah. McVay was very coy about what he said. I think it's funny.
He said,
because,
what do you think?
I think it's funny because, obviously they've talked, and obviously LaFleur has definitely shared some things. And obviously there's going to be a little bit maybe extra going on as well, too, from the things that Ben Johnson has basically put the Bears on an island by themselves in terms of it's us against the world, which I don't mind at all. I think one thing that McVay does not need to get from Matt LaFleur is game management and how to manage a game clock. Because Matt LaFleur has historically been terrible with that. And Sean McVay might be the GOAT. And so when you look at that, it's going to be very imperative for Chicago here to be up or be in control of this game. Because if the Rams have the ball and a chance to sully this shit away, you're never going to see the ball again, bro. Like the
Chicago Bears cannot get out to the start that they've had.
It is going to be death by 1,000 cuts, and that's the only thing that I'm afraid of is that, like we've seen all year, and how many times can you be the cardiac kids where you get down, you come back? Like this is not a Rams team that is going to pretty much allow you to do that unless you're turning the ball over. Now, Chicago this year has been the best in the entire NFL at turnover margin. Can that be sustainable, or is that luck? This is going to be a really tough game. And I think there are stats about Stafford not being as great outdoors. I just feel like this is going to be a situation where Chicago's up by 4. Rams have the ball, 3 minutes to go. They're going to run the clock all the way down. It's going to be a Devontae Adams touchdown with not a lot of time left to put them up by 3 and kind of end this game.
As far as the cold weather goes, Stafford went to Philadelphia last year playoffs when it was super cold and was absolutely fine.
I don't think it was as cold as it is this week, though.
I don't know. Maybe
I know it was snowing. I know it was snowing, but I don't think it was as cold as it is in Chicago. So,
well, the wind's definitely, it's not going to be too windy. I want to kind of go back a little bit what you were talking about as far as the Matt LaFleur thing. This whole thing came about with Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur. When Ben Johnson first got hired, right? He said, I enjoy beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. I don't know where that came from and why that friction rivalry came. If it was something in his time in Detroit, nobody's really ever said that, or maybe he was just feeding into the Bears, the rivalry thing there. Then when it came to this game, there was a lot of shit talk coming out of Green Bay, and rightfully so. I mean, they probably thought that it was going to be an easy win, and rightfully so. And the Bears took that to heart, and nobody's going to like it when you're talking shit about them, right? Mm-hmm. Just like Philip said, they want to they got it. Now, the whole Ben to Matt LaFleur thing, I don't know. At first with the whole running the handshake thing with like he's sprinting away. At the time, I was like, whatever. Looking back on it, you don't have to be cordial with somebody, but I think that just goes back to a little bit to sportsmanship, especially when you're growing up.
Absolutely.
Shaking the hands of the losers, or if you're the loser, shaking the hands of the winners. I think that I mean, it's 5 seconds, bro. It's 5 seconds, if that.
Right.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'd rather look the dude right in the eye and shake his hand and be like, good game, knowing that I just took your stole and snatched it.
That's like doing the golf course to me.
Yeah. And how easy was that? I looked you straight in the eye. I think that, going back with that, I don't know. I think that whole thing, so it's going to be very interesting. And I do like a couple of different takes that some other people have had that have been around. You don't have to be buddy with everyone.
No.
But
that's a big coaching tree too. Like that coaching tree extends a long way, and that's a lot of enemies to have by trying their boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I definitely feel like there's a little extra, not that the Rams need it. But I also feel like, to your point, if I'm a player, I mean, I don't know, bro. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I want to see the pregame. Usually coaches kind of talk in the field before the game as well. I'm interested in seeing it all.
Can we also say this too? Is that I remember I'm old enough to remember a couple years ago when Mike Tomlin got really upset. I think it was Antonio Brown had his Instagram live on in the locker room when Mike Tomlin was giving a speech, right? And it was like a violation of this locker room code and policy. Now we've gotten to a point where, because of social media and because of everything, we record everything that happens in the locker room. There is no sanctity anymore. So that when Ben Johnson comes out and says, fuck the Packers or whatever it is, and he says it with, determination and bravado and motivation, that is no longer the sanctity of the locker room. Now it gets shared to everybody. And now the handshake gets, you're overreacting to, how did he shake his hand? Oh, this guy must be a real prick. It's like we can't have this rah thing anymore. And I think it sucks. It's a byproduct of social media and giving so much access that we have nowadays. But it just kind of is what it is.
I completely agree. I don't mind anything that he said in the locker room. Not one bit.
But I just think
I just feel like
it should be in the locker room.
You give him 1 second. You give it. Oh, I agree with you 100%. You know me.
Should not be
like coaches are trying to run off the field for second half, and you got somebody sticking a microphone in the face. Coach, why did you suck so bad in the first half? And how do you plan on changing it? I don't agree with any of that. You're absolutely right. I feel like Ben might be burning some bridges here a little early in his career. I mean, this is his first year as a head coach. I know that things are high, but like to your point, Sean McVay is one of the best ones. And when you're getting compared, especially if an offensive head coach, that's who you're getting compared to. Now,
and that's a huge coaching tree. That's a lot of branches to have beef with. But that's why I said he's kind of put the Bears on an island, and it's been a us against the world thing. And I think that's something that Caleb has rallied around as well too, throughout the year. And I think this team has rallied around it as well through Caleb's leadership. I think it's going to be very important for Caleb to use his legs. I think that if Caleb can, Caleb's been great. He's going to have to be running. First of all, he's going to be running for his life. If we can be honest here, he needs to just be able to step up in the pocket. And I think Thuney is going to have to mitigate Braden Fisk. It's going to depend on how many stunts as well too that the Rams are going to run with those bookends. It's going to be tough. But if Caleb can get out of the pocket and maybe run for 50 or 60 yards in this game and pick up first downs, also the one place that I do think that they have an advantage here is in the kicking game. I think Santos, in terms of field goals and kicking and wind, is going to be better than I don't even know who's kicking for LA now. It's been such a whirlwind after they had the KD thing, and I don't know. So
I guess I did miss that. It's 22-mile-an-hour winds.
yeah,
I guess I missed that.
That's all I got, though. I do like the Rams here, unfortunately.
Hey, look, I said it before. This season has been a storybook season.
Yeah,
I'm happy with everything. I said it last week. I didn't expect the Bears to win one playoff game, but you could not lose to the Packers. That's all. You can't lose the Packers. If you lose the Packers, the whole season's a nut shot. So the fact that we're even here talking about this, I'm good. If we lose, I'm good. If we win, cherry on top. Let's move on to the next one. But I think this Bears team, especially with the roster that they've had and what they're able to do, what they've been able to do is nothing short of an absolute masterpiece from the players, from the coaches, the whole 9 yards. And if you lose to Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and don't shoot yourself in the foot with, a CJ Stroud-like game, then you're riding off at the end of it, be like, you know what? We didn't get this one, but my goodness, I can't wait for the next season. And I think that's where it's going to be at.
I hope they come into it knowing that they're playing with house money as well too, and just be loose and free and kind of play and let the game come to you. I think your wide receivers can definitely beat the DBs. Emmanuel Forbes to me is just whatever we think he is, and so I think there will be opportunities there for you as well.
I think that the Bears can absolutely cook their secondary. To your point, with DJ Moore, Luther Bird III, Colston Loveland emerging. Don't forget you still have Colston Loveland up there. Zacchaeus has been absolutely great. Monangai and Swift out of the backfield on the wheel routes. They have the weapons, man, to absolutely carve up that. My question again, though, is the Bears defense. And we saw the normal Bears defense in the first half of Green Bay. And then for some reason, somehow, some way, we saw a Bears defense we haven't seen for a long time in the second half of Green Bay.
They played possessed.
So I think that's just one of those things where we're not losing to the Packers. So I don't know if that same energy is going to be translated on the field against the Rams. We'll see. I'm over here. I'm trying to look at player props for rushing, and I can't see it anywhere on here for this game. I don't see anywhere where I have rushing props. I see passing, alternate.
Jeremy had a really nice bet that I liked. What do you want? Do you want rushing yards? Or
I was looking at Caleb to this point. Caleb Williams over 20 and a half.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
just because I have to have
Puka Nacua over 3.5. How many end rounds do they do with him? Matt Stafford over a half a yard. Jeff,
don't take it.
It's a trap.
Screw you. And I mentioned before how he took 4 steps back on the last one that he took a knee on. So
can I also say it's over a half a yard? Jeff is plus 135.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, bro. It's dangling the carrot. It's the Geico commercial.
You can't tell me he's going to have. He can't have one. But to your point, if he kneels down later in the game,
hey,
that's
screwed.
Terrible. Yeah. Well, I think
at halftime, let's say they're like, "Oh, we're just going to wrap it up at halftime," and he takes a knee. You're like, "Oh, well, yeah."
Okay. Oh yeah, okay. At first, I didn't know exactly what you meant. Now I understand what you're saying about.
Yeah, I'm saying that they're like,
the game's over at halftime. They're already kneeling out the clock.
No. I'm like, there's like 15 seconds left on the 12-yard line, and they're like, "Okay, we're just instead of running the ball, we're just going to take a knee and take the half."
It's gonna be. I just again. Guys, Bears fans, it's been a great season. Let's show up in full force. Let's put our support. If we win, that's great. But man, what a hell season it's been.
Where are you watching?
I will walk at the house as usual. Yeah, I can't be out in public, Jeff. We know that.
Comfort of Uber Eats and DoorDash.
Nah, I'm gonna go pick up some steaks and grill out some steaks and stuff. We did talk a little bit early about some big MLB news. Kyle Tucker signing with the Dodgers, 4 years, $240 million. Jeff. I'm going to use your quote. This has to stop.
They cannot keep getting away with it.
I mean, come on. What are we doing? Yeah. How does this roster, how does this function? Like, my goodness, dude. I don't know, dude. I'm so, whatever. I could care less. Honestly, I could care less.
Bo Bichette, 3 years. 3 years and, I don't know, a lot of money. $140 million, 3 years to the Mets. Bo Bichette to the Mets.
And obviously the Cubs did Alec Bregman. They got that last week as well. That's a big one for the Cubbies, I think. I was not
Huge.
upset at all about Kyle Tucker going away.
And very interesting as well, too. I mean, what TJ put out, like he had 20-something home runs last year and batted .266, and he's going to make $60 million a year.
Well, he was hurt for the majority of the year, though.
So just crazy.
I do want to end this with a quick note here. We were talking about the Bears, and we were talking about domes and things of this nature. I was fortunate enough to receive an email because I'm on the season ticket waiting list for the Chicago Bears, gauging my interest on the stadium in Northwest Indiana. And it was about a 15-minute survey. I answered a lot of the questions. A lot of questions. Would you spend time in Northwest Indiana if we built this big complex with restaurants and all this stuff? Absolutely not. I would go there and go back to Chicago, as most sane people would. And I also, related my opinion as far as, there's something nostalgia about Chicago and that stadium being right there. You fly in, you get some really good food, you pregame at your local bar, and you can either walk over to the stadium, take a pedicab, whatever it is. I go to remove that from the people of Chicago. I think it's an absolute nightmare. Even if you move it over to the west side, I still have to fly into Chicago, and then now I have to drive 30 to 40 minutes to the game. But Jeff, at the very end of it, I got the seating chart and the ticket prices. Oh, yes. So Chicago is one of the poverty franchises that does PSL license. For those of you who don't know, it's called a personal seat license. So therefore, you have to buy the license for the seats in order to buy the tickets. It's a very interesting concept for the NFL to get more money. Now, Jeff, lower bowl tickets, around the 50-yard line. We're talking about 15 rows up, whatever, 10 rows up. Tickets per ticket's like $25,000 a piece. Okay. That's already egregious, correct? I mean, we can agree with that. 9 games
for the year.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, let's just do this. What do they have? 9 home games? $25,000 divided by 9 is $2,800 a ticket per game. I think we can agree that's egregious. However, Jeff, would you like to guess what the PSL license is for said ticket? Take a guess.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay. 3 times. Would you like to take a guess? Put your headphones on. Get in here. For those of you who don't know, this is our 3 times. He's been steadily doing something behind the scenes back here, very intently. I think he's been doing some serious research.
He was sitting on the shitter while on Twitter,
On the shitter on Twitter. What is your guess? 3 times for a PSL license for the Chicago Bears lower bowl, about 10 rows up.
Chad says $8,000.
10 grand.
The tickets alone were $25,000. I will tell you that the PSL is more than the tickets. I'll give you that.
No way.
Oh, wait till I say this number. Are we ready?
Sure.
$125,000 a seat. So they want, for 2 seats, they want me to pay $250,000 for the PSL license, and then $50,000 for each year for the tickets. So we all know the tickets are going to continue to go up. However, they do offer to finance you for 20 years if you'd like at 8% interest.
They want $300,000 for tickets.
No. That's just the seat. The tickets are extra. That's an extra $50,000.
No, that's what I'm saying. The total would be
the total at $150,000 would be like $350,000. It's asinine. So of course, at the end, I put that out there. I said, "What? You expect somebody to finance a house?" Now, the way that PSL licenses go is I can resell that eventually down the road or whatever. But I mean, what are we doing?
That's a one-time payment, right? That's a one-time payment, though.
One-time payment.
License.
The one-time payment. And if the value goes up, obviously you can make more. If the value goes down, just like anything else. But dude, so even the nosebleeds. So the nosebleeds at the very, very top were, I do believe, $4,000 a ticket for the season, and the PSL license were $3,000 per seat for the nosebleeds. I'm just like, dude,
this is going to be a dome, right?
Yeah, it's going to be dome. I looked at my wife. The stadium does look beautiful. I will say that the stadium looks beautiful. But I looked at my wife. I've been on the season ticket waiting list for 20 years for the Chicago Bears. When they announced a new stadium, I couldn't have been more elated. I was going to get Chicago Bears tickets for the first time in my life. Guaranteed. Would I fly up to the games? Absolutely, I would. I looked at her and I said, "We will never have a Bears season ticket in this lifetime." I mean, give me a break.
You want to come back
Why
to
would-
Tampa?
No. You know, Jeff, the package alone is enough. I have to have 5 different, streaming packages. It cost me, what did I say? It cost like $1,500 this year in order just to watch the games on television so that I can go pay a quarterback. So I can pay Caleb Williams by the time his contract comes up, $75 million a year. No, thank you. Yeah, Super Bowl tickets. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But the thing is like Chad with the PS, like, okay, I can get it. $50,000 for the tickets for the season. Okay, whatever. But again, when you're probably still not even getting your money back from that if you do to try to sell them. But if you're trying to recoup any of that PSL license on top of it, it's nuts. No, it doesn't, Chad. The Bears fans don't have bank. What they're banking on and what you can see in it is corporations. It's going to be like the New York Yankees when they built their new stadium. All of the lower section was basically bought by corporations. And that's what they're going to have. It's going to be all corporate. It's going to be, companies that own these tickets. And you're going to see people just not sitting in seats because who wants to drive 45 minutes to Northwest Indiana?
Well, it's funny we were having this conversation because the Kansas City Royals announced that they're moving their fences in by 10 feet across the board. And that's going to allow them to fit an extra, it was like 120 seats or something like that. And somebody was saying how stupid that was. And I broke it down, the math. I'm like, bro, that's an extra $2 million in revenue per year on the low end for the team. That's just in their pocket. That's without concessions. That's without everything. So it's just crazy, man. You call me a paper fan, and dog me about it for staying home and not going to games.
You are the one that coined that term, my friend. You put the mirror right in front of you, look your pretty face in the mirror, and you did that. Yeah, I agree, dude. I tell you, I've been there through the lows of the lows, man, and I've been there. I wasn't old enough to really understand the 85 Bears and the 86 Cubs that won the, and all of that good stuff. But dude, like, this has been something obviously I've been thinking about for a long ass time, and I knew it was coming. And to get that nut shot, and it's not like I could be poor, I guess, and sit up at the top. I could be poor. But again, am I still going to give them $10,000 just to say I own Bears tickets? Nah, fuck off. I need to stay in my lane, the luxury that I'm accustomed to.
Yeah,
now, there are some other.
You don't stay the Holiday Inn when you go travel. Where do you stay when you travel?
There are some other areas, Jeff, that we called the premium seats. Now, these seats were $25,000 a piece for the PSL licenses. And I do believe they were like $12,000 for the season for the game. And that does include food and beverage, the waiters, the whole 9 yards. So there are other options.
Do they take cash?
So my poverty level might not be completely exposed, but yeah, what a nutshot. Anyway, 3 times. Any errors, omissions, anything that we missed? A lot of notes going on over there. Are you playing Fortnite?
I'm checking Twitter.
Oh, it's on the Twitter feed, making sure that we're up to speed.
Big comeback by the Magic yesterday. If you didn't see it.
Hey, speaking of which, did you see that Anthony Black dunk over 4 players?
Yes.
It wasn't really over 4 players. I listen, obviously we're repping, right? Go Magic all day. People are like dunk of the year, dunk of the deck. I'm like, bro, he literally jumped. One guy, Aldamo, jumped with him. The other 3 were behind him. They all tried snaps on him. The way that it happened, I've seen it set to like Celine Dion music, and like it's
great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Celine Dion music,
whatever it is
from Titanic. My heart will go on.
Yeah.
Where do I find that?
I don't know. It was on TikTok somewhere. Interesting. Anyway.
Let's see it, Jeff.
Oh, geez.
No whistle.
I don't know. Yeah, over one, but I mean, they're all in, bro.
You see right here, you said a freight train? Anthony Black on
Actually, he didn't really dunk over anyone.
defenders.
It was funny. They
That's
like
it right there that they're all just closing in on him.
Yeah, they asked him after the game, and he was like, I didn't think anybody was around me. I had no idea. Like I thought I was just going up for a dunk, and there was nobody around me. And then when I turned back around, there's 4 dudes on the ground. I'm like, what happened? But good for him.
Yeah,
man. It's funny. We were actually talking about this, what the Magic are going to do, because they're so deep, man. Like when they have everybody together, and it was funny how slow they started out, right? Grizzlies hitting 9 threes in the first quarter in the Berlin game. It was unstoppable. I had to look up what the most threes were in an entire game for an NBA team. It was 29. I'm like, they're on pace for 36 right now. This is wild. Obviously, regressed back to the mean, came back down to earth, but just Anthony Black's playing so well, and the spacing that he gives them. I would rather see Jalen Suggs kind of come off the bench whenever he does get healthy. Then you can run that Jalen Suggs, Tristan Da Silva, Noah Penda, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner. Like they have so many pieces now. I knew we were back when I saw Mo take a charge. I was like, oh God, Mo took. Everybody got fired up. I was like, oh, we're back, bro.
It was nice to see Mo came back. Got a standing ovation when he came back. That's my boy right there.
Well, also, those guys are like the heart and soul of Magic games. If you've been to them, they come in, they change the tone, the tempo, the texture of the game, and so they're key pieces.
I love all their nicknames, man. They got some great nicknames. You got the Minister of Defense and J.I. You got TDS. You got Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda is a good one as well too.
I love that one.
It's really good. So I think this is a huge trip for them because they were kind of disconnected for a while for the start of this year, and nothing brings you together like grabbing your family and your people and traveling to another country and being together and connected and eating together and just everything. So I think
our boy Diamond Dave's over there.
Is he really? Did he really go?
Yeah.
I know Omar was talking about it, but
yeah, no, Diamond Dave's over there. I've been watching all his snaps, and he's having a blast.
In Germany. They played in Berlin yesterday. They fly to London after there. They flew to London after the game. They play in London tomorrow against the Grizzlies again, and then fly back. So
I didn't know the NBA is doing a European tour now.
Yeah, and it just so happened to work out for them because obviously the Magic have 3 players that are on the German national team with both the Wagner brothers as well as Da Silva, he played great yesterday too, man. Him being half Brazilian, half German, I feel like that is some good blood right there. I wonder why he's too weird about that.
Oh boy! On that note, holy macaroons!
And the Memphis coach is from Germany as well.
Yeah. So it was just
coach of the year.
Cool to have. I don't know, like if you're German, you get to see your guys come.
Your head coach and some of your players.
Yeah, cool.
Good deal. Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. Thanks for jumping in on this Football Friday. Big weekend of games ahead of us. Go Bears. That's all we got to say. Go Bears. If you have to be driving over the weekend, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane. Bear down.
Be great.
Bear down.